Made him the 186th pick overall, and as soon as they did, Colt became the topic of debate for more than 10 minutes. UH's first Heisman finalist is now a Washington Redskin. While Colt Brennan was a 6th-round pick, he is one of only 13 quarterbacks taken in this year's draft.
You know, as the day progressed, it was getting a little stressful, but you know, in the end, I'm really glad that Washington stepped up, and you know, looking back now, I mean, it's a great fit for me.
Brennan now joins a heavy passing team that runs a version of the West Coast offense. But turns out Colt's selection wasn't quickly passed over by ESPN's panel of experts.
I mean, when you have a quirky motion like Colt Brennan does coming sidearm, it's very difficult to be consistent when you're throwing. As I've studied him on tape, yes, he can be an accurate thrower. But what bothers me about that accuracy is the fact that he doesn't get the ball out of his hand quick enough. He waits for the receiver to come open. It's about anticipation. He'll watch, and wait.
After being criticized for poor showings at the Sugar Bowl and Senior Bowl and having hip surgery, Brennan is used to being an underdog, but believes his delivery is not one of his weak points.
People talk about my sidearm delivery, yet Vince Young, Tony Romo, Rich Gannon, these are all guys who have much lower deliveries than I do. You know, everyone says I have like a 3/4 sidearm delivery. I have a weird delivery. No one's ever seen it. In 3 years, nobody's ever been as accurate as me in the history of college football, and that's what they say is the #1 important thing in drafting a quarterback.
The Redskins admit Brennan was brought in as a guy they want to develop and find him a worthwhile investment. Besides the former UH quarterback setting and tying 31 NCAA records, they like his winning attitude.
Jim Zorn really liked all the intangible stuff, how he was in the locker room, how he was, the leader that he is on the field, and just the way he carries himself.
Now, whether my opportunity comes months from now or years from now, I really don't have that much control over that. But when my opportunity does come, that's my chance to really show everybody that I belong.
Colt was one of 10 players that the Redskins drafted. He's going to check into minicamp this Friday.
Liz, I was wondering, what did he think about being the subject of such heated debate on national television?
I was wondering that too, because I know he's got a pretty thick skin. He said actually he was on the phone with the Redskins at the time, so he missed it. But luckily his family was able to fill him in, and you know what? He's just ready to go, and he just wants to prove himself. So stay tuned. Coming up in sports too, a couple of former Warriors also got free agent deals, so Mike's going to have that.
All right, thanks a lot, Liz.
In the NFL draft, all you need is one team to fall in love with you. And in the 6th round, the Redskins were the ones who wooed quarterback Colt Brennan, selecting him with the 186th overall pick. According to ESPN, the reason Colt Brennan's stock dropped had a lot to do with his lack of arm strength and his sidearm delivery. But according to the Redskins, Colt will get every opportunity to develop into a quality NFL player.
Hawaii was having a head coach in Coach Jones, and knowing that he had played quarterback before, it made it easy. Coach Zorn has played quarterback before. He's been in the position. He understands the position, and just looking at the whole thing overall, I'm really excited about the opportunity, and I really think this guy can really make me a better quarterback and really develop me for the NFL.
The thing that we've got going for us, we've got an outstanding person to coach him and teach him. Jim Zorn will be, just what the doctor ordered for him. Whatever Jim thinks he needs to improve upon, that's what will happen. So I think that he's coming to a perfect situation for him. There's not pressure. We've got a quarterback. We've got an outstanding backup quarterback in Todd Collins, and he's got time to learn. He's got time to develop.
Now, Colt's chances of finding some playing time are good in Washington. Last year's starter Jason Campbell was benched for the last 4 games of the season and the playoffs in favor of aging backup Todd Collins. Former starter Mark Brunell did not take any snaps in 2007. A shot to make it into the pros didn't end with the draft. Several players with Hawaii ties signed on as free agents today. Just moments after the draft ended, Hawaii's all-time leading receiver Devon Bess inked a free agent deal with the Miami Dolphins. And with the Dolphins coming off a 1-15 campaign, Bess thinks he can fill a number of Miami's needs.
Well, I'm excited to be going to Miami. I kind of lucked up. I'm in a good situation because they say that they told me the punt return is open for me in the slot, and that's what I do. It's just a matter of me going out and getting it now.
Ryan Grice-Mullen is also headed to the pros. He'll suit up next season for the Houston Texans. Grice-Mullen, like Bess, left college early after a great junior year to test the waters in the NFL. He, too, likes his chances with the Texans since they did not draft any receivers.
And they liked how, how I caught the ball and, how basically I just, made plays. And, the biggest thing, they just liked that how, I kind of look a little different from, the receiver that they have now.
The third member of the wide receiver trio, Jason Rivers, inked a deal with the Tennessee Titans. The Titans are in dire need of offensive help and hope that Rivers can provide that offensive punch for superstar QB Vince Young.
I'm relieved, all the pressure, all the waiting, all the anxiety is over with, and now I can start the next chapter. It was like, it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to turn out and get drafted or whatever, but that's the way it is for a lot of people.
And speaking of those other people, Kamehameha grad tight end Kolo Kapanui reached a free agent agreement with the Cleveland Browns today. According to Browns management, the 6'3" West Texas A&M standout was their top free agent signee and was nearly their 7th-round pick. The terms of his agreement have not yet been released. Another Warrior that signed a free agent deal was O-lineman Hercules Satele. The All-American reached an agreement with the Arizona Cardinals. And if you're wondering